place. Pecco Bagnaia started the week out of
on Ducati, down the start.
It's advantage. Bagnaia leads at the end of the first half. That's enough. That sensational start. It's just come up on our screens. No jump start. Jorge Martin
will only pass on the straight. Well, that was almost out of the window straight away there from Maverick Vinales.
One of the best starts I think we've ever seen. We're on board then now with Maverick Vinales, looking ahead at his teammate Fabio Quattro.
Places.
We're in Assen for the legendary Dutch TT to bring you one of the biggest and most important events on the Netherlands sporting calendar. The Cathedral of Speed awaits the fastest riders in the world ahead of a 5-week summer break. It's time to race in MotoGP. Coming up next then in MotoGP. Pecco Bagnaia craves a return to winning ways at the Cathedral of Speed. Fabio Quattararo.
The sun is set, the stage is set, and we're set for MotoGP in 2021. Pecco Bagnaia from the head of row 3 and 7th. The world champion Joan Mir with work to do from 10th. The rookies Bastianini and Marti. Here we go, folks. MotoGP 2021 warm-up lap is about to get underway. We can barely contain our excitement here in the commentary box.
Fabio Quattararo lines up on the front row, second on the grid. Here is Pecco Bagnaia, just making sure everything's set.
T1 is underway. The Bawa Grand Prix of Qatar is go. Not a great start initially from Bagnaia. Look at Miller coming through for the second row. The Ducati
started 14th. He's already up inside the top 3. The Ducati launch device is absolutely out of this world. When Ducati start device is phenomenal. They've got 4 bikes inside the top 4. The Aprilia Related Spargo is also
by the Ducatis.
Hovering around 9th and 10th place. Pecco Bagnaia started the week out of
on Ducati, down the start.
It's advantage. Bagnaia leads at the end of the first half. That's enough. That sensational start. It's just come up on our screens. No jump start. Jorge Martin
will only pass on the straight. Well, that was almost out of the window straight away there from Maverick Vinales.
One of the best starts I think we've ever seen. We're on board then now with Maverick Vinales, looking ahead at his teammate Fabio Quattro.
Places at the inside of Fabio Quattararo.
Still that advantage he had like on lap 1 of 0.6 of a second. It's a nightmare. Shocker on the opening night for Franco Morbidelli. Something happened to him on that first lap as well, second lap rather, because lucky owner Alex Martin
and Fabio Quattararo, the door was just left slightly open from the rookie Martin, and through he goes.
Yeah, there was something happened to Morbidelli on that second.
Rossi there now being hounded by Alex Rins. He was wide there, Rossi, and that was easy enough for Rins to pick him up.
A little bit to maintain that pace. He did say yesterday he was a little bit concerned about the first few laps of the full fuel tank at Later Spargo. He's gone from 5th to
side of Valentino Rossi. So Mir now up into 8th place. Now remember, folks, for very good reason,
54. Miller in 3rd place. It's just around.
And he's thinking, I'm not going to go for it right now.
Today, if you try and escape and push too hard at the start of the race, there's a risk you might then get
Quattararo makes a move. That was before Quattararo finds a way through. Of course, Matt, they've got to do this in second
lengths to keep him behind the slipstream.
Here he comes. Here comes the move. That was beautifully done from Fabio Quattararo.
He lined that all up into Fabio Quattararo there, because when Miller winds up the wick to 6th gear on that Ducati, although Quattararo's got pretty good drive, hasn't he?
Quattararo's not having it though. He's closing the door. Excellent stuff from the Frenchman.
Oh, that was a game of dare and chance on the
patient work at the end of the last lap and the start of this one from Fabio Quattararo. He had to do that. Now Maverick Vinales has just watched all of that on
Morbidelli, who's having an absolutely awful, dreadful start to 2021. What happened to him? 7th on the grid, 16th.
He can't get into the 55s. There's definitely a problem, because Franco Morbidelli, that is just not reflect tail now. We're on board here with Jack Miller looking at Fabio Quattararo up ahead.
Oliveira threatened a strong race.
A bike noise, I'm sure, unless I'm hearing things, Matt, but I thought I just heard, we have, Taka Nakagami's gone down.
Drives nowhere near good enough from Taka Nakagami. Yeah, and the front end just tucking out right from it. I just wonder if he maybe clipped a bit of curb on the inside.
Go. Number 63, Bagnaia, who leads this one, the Italian from fellow Frenchman, Fabio Quattararo. Here comes the move from Maverick Vinales on his good friend Jack Miller. Miller fading, he's falling back.
At the moment, just trying to save a bit of tyre.
You never know.
It's hard to read what's going through his mind. I mean, there's such a long way to go, and
It's difficult to call, Matt, because at the end of last year, Jack Miller matured so much. He used his head in races.
about a fellow rookie check. Sorry, Bastianini 16th and Luca Marini 17th.
The two factory Yamahas are closing now on Johann Zarco. They have worked beautifully to get back on terms again.
But Vinales knows he doesn't have to take any silly risks to get through on Quattararo, because Fabio's paid. Right, okay, now he's going to attack Quattararo, isn't he? No, he's not. But this is a good position for Maverick Vinales to be in, because he knows that Fabio
The tail of Jack Miller,
which can spell trouble, because if Alex Rins is there at this stage of the Grand Prix, we know how good he is with it.
Vinales looks like, doesn't he, that he's got the better speed of the two Yamaha riders at the moment. He wants to make sure that
we're just starting to perhaps stretch away from Fabio Quattararo.
Fascinating race.
So his wheel, the Frenchman will know he's right there on its case.
Bagnaia still leads though, 10th or so in it, back to Pagon.
Yeah, Johann Zarco, you've got to say he's doing an excellent job here. He's kept his powder dry, used the power of the Ducati first corner, going into turn one, braking from well over 3.9,
fast not quite. Didn't work from 9th on the grid.
Wasn't suggesting they've been sandbagging, but he knew the threat that Rins was going to pose. So many riders talked last night about you can't discount, and Vinales did at turn 6.
Yeah, Vinales also had another look at his teammate. We're riding on board now with Fabio Quattararo. Look at Maverick Quattararo right now. He'd be able to get on terms with Bagnaia and Zarco. There's 3 different battles going on here.
He hasn't needed to.
Here comes Vinales on Quattararo. He's done it on the straight. It will be the move into turn 1 that he needed.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Out to the curve. There was no way that the Frenchman could then turn in. So Vinales up into 3rd place on the podium.
Miller the nudge he needs to say, do you know what? I don't want to fall too far back. Maybe I'll push now. It's impossible to know what his game plan is at the moment.
I'm pretty sure that Bagnaia and Miller have not done a 54 in this race because they're thinking so much.
And it went horrifically wrong in Mazzano. Will that be in the back of his mind? 52 Rins. There's a bit of a gap back then to the world champion Mir, who's just ahead of Aleix and Paul Espargaro.
Well, he's still doing 56s. Franco Morbidelli in 19th place, nowhere near.
Maverick Vinales' corner speed is so
Maverick Vinales for quite some time, I'd wager to say.
It is, yeah, and it's aggressive as well. You know, it's not the best we've seen of him in a race like this.
Here comes Miller on Quattararo.
Has
he got that move done in the slipstream?
Fabio Quattararo.
Free time, isn't it? Free time. The Ducati, once it gets wound up to 6th gear, you've got no chance.
On this lap, may well just fancy a move on Johann Zarco. Is it coming? Was it made there? No, not quite. We're on board with Rick.
By far the quickest man on the circuit on that last lap was